There's a new female rapper coming out of the UK that, while resembling Megan Thee Stallion, the image that she portrays is actually way worse. Her name is Ceechynaa, and I'm not even sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but she has 171,000 followers. She has a song out now called Peggy, and we're gonna get into some of the lyrics of that song, but just a brief look on her social media, you can see exactly the type of rapper that she is. These are the type of young lady that had no talent to begin with. I mean, besides being blessed with aesthetics, but they utilize their sexuality in order to sell products, selling themselves to the entertainment devil for a buck, ashamed by nothing, offended by everything, and at the same time makes it a business out of disrespecting men. Now, remember that song I told you about called Peggy? Well, currently, just up on YouTube, it has tens of millions of reviews. Let's go through some of the lyrics so you can understand what I'm saying. Now, the first line in the chorus is, "I'm pegging that man in the back of the bus, feeling like 3-6 Mafia. I'm gonna fill his nose up with dust. These ninjas always talking. Tell them ninjas, I don't give a f***. I got an Asian youth from the West trying to pick me up in a Lambo truck. I told that man I love short men because I wanted to use them. I'm putting these ninjas in debt. If I get his wallet, I'm gonna abuse it. Just got a triangle strip last week. Now I'm out here looking like Phineas. I left that ninja on red. He ain't gonna fuck with me, and that's on period. I'm in the back of the car with your daddy, and he's twerking and popping a perk. I mean, it's completely absurd. Nevertheless, I found this lovely white-eyebrowed young lady who is defending the image and protecting the lyrics of the rapper in question. So I wanted to give it a fair shake in the spirit of fair use to have a discussion up here. Now, her video has over 100,000 views, and the comment section is filled with nothing but praise. So y'all already know it's time to get active. So without further ado.
I love when I find a new rap girly to get obsessed over. I love it. If you've been on TikTok, or at least my side of TikTok, you might have come across a British drill rapper named Ceechynaa. If you haven't, let me put you on game because Ceechynaa is fun. We're gonna analyze some things, but for now, she's fun, okay? Because I'm way too bougie. Ooh, there's something about somebody rapping aggressively in a feminine British accent. I don't know. It just does something for me.
And exactly what it does for her, right? This power through being aggressive or putting down the men is the exact playbook that feminism, modern day feminism, not the first wave and second wave feminism, which I agree with, but the marketing that modern day feminism has put within the mindset of these young women today. They watch artists, they watch influencers act this way, but then indoctrinate it within their own way that they behave with men.
Truly. But she's been getting a lot of notoriety on TikTok, not only because people have been making videos just lip syncing to her songs, but because they're also making their parents and boyfriends, male friends, listen to her and get their reactions because, and I don't know how much of this I'm going to be able to play, but it goes a little something like this.
He wanna break, I've been face 6 hours. He told me to his mouth, so I gave him a.
She is giving femdom. She's giving dommy mommy. She's giving men who like a humiliation kink. Men who want to be used and abused by a feminine, hot woman. Like, not just men, anyone really. Anyone really, am I right? Sorry, I'll be serious. But listen, she's a baddie, she's light-skinned, she got a British accent, she got the wigs, she got the China's milkies, she got all the things going for her. She's scamming men, she doesn't give a She raps in a very masculine, get on your knees and grease my feet type of way. I'm in the back of the bus with your daddy and he's twerking and popping a perk. She said that about your daddy. She don't give a I love it. But we do pop culture analysis here. So obviously, if I'm going to talk about someone like Ceechynaa, I gotta analyze a bit using half my sociology degree. Ooh, is this okay? I mean, it's okay. But like, Is it? So we're going to talk a bit about her because there isn't as much about her online, which kind of surprises me given her age. But anyway, talk a bit about her, talk a bit about how she's being received, about the marketing that she has, her branding, the vibes, because it's all about marketing and branding, even if people look authentic. Y'all, I'm just saying. Yeah, get into the feminism or misandry conversation because you always got to, and I just really want us to re-break down what the words feminism and misandry mean because what's happening?
Sociology degree, more than likely from a liberal institution, so we know exactly where this conversation is about to go. But just notice, I guess, along with her image, the cues or the happiness that she shows when there's a image of a woman that disrespects men. The comparison to this is that if I was to do a social commentary about, a new rapper within gang murderous culture, and I'm like laughing and kikiing about the positiveness. Is this bad for society? The opposite of this is that if there was a rapper, let's say a pimp rapper that got up on there and was talking about disrespecting women and like S trafficking and all these different things, and I'm kind of like laughing, joking, acting like what he's doing is empowering to me as a man. But let's give it a fair shake.
So who is she? Well, as I said at the beginning, she's a UK drill rapper, but I don't think I mentioned her age. She's 21. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it because she does have a song called Legal Baby, one of her 3 singles. Yes, she only has 3 singles out, and she's already getting this much hype, so hey. But she has 3 singles, Legal Baby, Last Laugh, and of course, Peggy, which is the one that a lot of people are reacting to online right now, and is her most recent single. Apparently, she might be a femdom, she might be a lesbian. All of those things seem like it could be accurate to me, mostly the lesbian part, because listen, if you know, you know. Most s***ers I know, girl, they ain't straight. Whether or not she is a femdom, her songs give off that energy. She's degrading men, she's talking down to them, she's talking to men like men in hip hop talk to women, and even more aggressively. Because some of y'all are like, men don't talk like this. Rick Ross.
These are the infamous lyrics that Rick Ross put in that You Ain't Know It song way back in the day. I think the song is like 12, 13 years old or something like that. And albeit, this is definitely not a good look, but I would also argue that this right here is not Rick Ross's image. This is a lyric amongst a plethora of songs, whereas the other young lady that's her image. Her image is branding herself that way. And I also argue that the top male rappers are not being degrading towards, if you want to say the top male is Kendrick, Drake, and J. Cole. Let's say that those are the top 3 mainstream rap artists. That's not their lyrics, whereas the top 3 female rap artists, all of them have some degree of sexuality involved with their image.
Ceechynaa's talking about consensual behavior? I'm just saying. Think about it. Okay. And this is why I think she is being received the way she is being received. Very divisive, but also very like entertaining, shock value. The girlies that like it are like, yeah, finally, we get to feel the same empowerment and degradation that these men have been dealing with us this whole time. Blah, 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 blah. I'm not surprised that people would say stuff like that, especially given the way the world seems to be turning in a more right-wing direction. You know, the trad wife of it all, the rejection of sex positivity, or at least the like superficial understanding of sex positive feminism, and people just being sick and tired of men's bullshit and living in a patriarchal society because it's the patriarchy that we're mad at, not men specifically. Men enact it, but women also do too. But this sort of like, you know what? If these men are gonna be like this, if they don't understand why we would rather choose a bear than a man, you know what? We're just gonna double down even more. To degrade these men. Who would have thought last year I'd make so much to degrade these men? Girl, we are going to degrade these men.
And there you have it. They make every excuse to hate on men and be misandrous because within their minds, they are still the victim of a society. They still view the world as not having the same rights. They still view the world of, pay discrepancy. They still view the world as a patriarchy, as if it still exists. So in their eyes, it gives an excuse because while men are on top, women are on the bottom, we're finally punching up. And from a marketing perspective, Park punching down never makes sense. To be honest, the marketer behind the feminism movement deserves some type of medal or award or recognition. To be able to trick a whole sector of people to believe that they're being victimized to push bullshit forward is genius. It's brilliant if you think about it. But that's why they speak so positively about this man versus bear shit. That's why they speak so positively about when women have the image of degrading, pegging, sexualizing men. Meanwhile, their best examples of why they can act out of order is a lyric from one rapper from 12 years ago. Let's keep going.
And now, like I said, some people have certain kinks where they like this. It is actually, yes, mommy, please. So, keep that in mind as we're having this conversation. I'm more so just talking about the general girls that are probably in the car listening to this, screaming it in their boyfriend's ear, and their boyfriends are probably like,
oh my God. No, if you're a girlfriend to a man and you're screaming this in your boyfriend's ear, no, hold on, let me just talk to my G's. Understand what she's destined for, which is nothing but the streets. You do not have an obligation to fix unruly. You do not have an obligation to check women for their modern feminism beliefs. You are in an aircraft piloted by her towards your own destruction. You need to hit that eject button before y'all both crash and burn.
What?
Yeah,
okay,
funny,
I'm not
right?
laughing at them.
Yeah.
Yes, and ladies, I'm not down in the parade. I was shaking my ass to this song, so don't play with me, okay? This is how people are reacting, is what I'm talking about. And I was bumping my ass to it because I have always loved female rap and more recently been unpacking the kind of paradoxical relationship it has to women, because if women are rapping and doing the same dominator type attitude, patriarchal type, misogynistic type, hyper masculine type behaviors, but in a hyper feminine body, is it really that different, right? That's something I struggle with and something I'm going to be kind of think about for a while. But for now, I'm shaking my ass. Okay. But I've come to some new realizations, mostly because of marketing and branding. So let's talk about that.
Okay.
I realize that I can't please anybody. I realise that I'm talking about beauty standards, and I can't exactly do that unless I'm being the real me. These eyelashes don't define me, and neither does this hair. What is your definition? What is your definition of beauty?
This kind of looks like the chick who was rapping. You know what the funny thing is about this? They get up and they do these speeches like this in order to show like distance from like what men want them to look like, but men don't want your hair hats. They don't want your wigs. They don't want your butterfly eyelashes. No, your beauty standards were not set by men. Why would a man want you to wear a suit and tie up on a stage just like he would? They are so convinced that they are victims in a patriarchal regime without the inability to understand that this is all free will and free choice. I wish that you could take any of these feminists and just drop them up into a real patriarchal regime and see how they would fare. I bet you they would stop at nothing to come back to a place as open and free as America is. Men do not want your masculinity, nor do they want your lemming ass to be convinced into doing ridiculous shit with your image that they never wanted in the first place.
So that was a clip from a speech that Ceechynaa did in high school talking about defying beauty standards. Like I said before, she doesn't have a huge presence on the internet besides the music that she's been releasing over the last 3 years. But this video is interesting to me because it kind of confirms my suspicions about what exactly is going on here with the Ceechynaa brand, label, marketing, whatever. In that it is marketing. In that she is telling a story, she is playing a sort of character that might be part of her, but is not fully her. There's a TikTok I saw of her saying, or this is secondhand information, so grain of salt, of somebody being like, Ceechynaa asked if we wanted to see her antique or like her vintage doll collection. And it's just like, cutie. Like, this isn't to say that you can't be an S-worker or a thotty-yaddiana and have quirky, weird interests. Most of the thotty-yaddianas, worker baddies I know are just girlies. I'm kidding. I'm not diagnosing people, but they're just little weird girlies that are like hanging out and vibing, like that watch anime and are huge nerds, okay? Every S-worker I know and anyone I know that's dated one, y'all are nerds. You're sexy nerds. Just get over it. Anyway. This speech that she gave, she takes off her wig, she takes off her lashes. She's saying, I know these things enhance my beauty, but this is not me.
I'm all about like female empowerment, and it was really important that I deliver that speech. I actually had no idea that 4 years later it would be going so viral again. I watched that speech every day.
I really thought that the commentator was going to say something maybe a little bit more enlightening outside of that it's just a marketing technique. Duh. Perhaps something a little bit more profound that as a young girl, she would speak out towards the normalization of certain beauty standards. Whereas after 18, she literally became the normalization. She is literally the copy pasta and to another level of early Nicki Minaj, Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion. Shit, even go back in the day to Lil' Kim, Foxy Brown, but she makes money off it here. Got it.
Viral again. I watch that speech every day.
This is not something that I have to say is me. And people might watch that and go, then why is she out here making a song called Legal Baby and Last Laugh and Peggy and acting like this? One, if she's a lesbian, I can't explain to you how this makes sense. It just does. At least a femdom lesbian, because femdom queers, what's up? Two, the songs are so, I don't know, to me, they're so caricature-y almost that it feels like, yeah, there's no way she doesn't know what she's doing. She flips back and forth between saying she doesn't fuck for the bag, but that she would if a guy is wealthy, that she doesn't sleep with these men, but that she does, only the wealthy ones, that she scams them out of their money. Like, she's doing all of the hits that we know you do if you are a baddie. Tell me what you know about Profit. I made so much last week to act like a thought. Tell me what you know about Profit. Do y'all see what I'm trying to say? You see, you don't care about these men. You're scamming them out of their money. You and your girlfriend are actually on a trip who's equally femme and equally as bad. Y'all are on a trip somewhere using the money that you got from these men, whether you actually hooked up with them or just, you know, were cute around them and they really liked you and wanted to just send you money. Listen, if y'all don't follow femdoms or know any, it's a fascinating, like, girl, I was looking at this one girl posting on Instagram, this mistress and her subs posting all these screenshots of these subs sending her money, being like a financial femdom. Girl, sign me up.
Sorry, this social commentary is ass. That's why I feel like I have to stop it every couple of seconds. What I also notice is that she continues to talk about this from the perspective of femdoms as if a guy who's a submissive is like a wide population of guys that this woman is trying to market to. No, if we're talking about marketing, she's trying to market to women. Women are her intended audience from a lyrical perspective, but from a image perspective, from an aesthetics perspective, it's men. With actually women too, because women like bodies just as much as what men do. They just don't like to admit it. But that's, of course, the big thing that's missing out of social commentaries like this is that when you push a public image out there and you call her an influencer, how does that then influence the 16-year-old versions of her? Do we not think that it's damaging? Do we not think that it's disrespectful? Or is this women's empowerment? How are you empowered of thought?
What do you mean? I say all this to say that it's a lot of marketing and branding, because if this year has, I'm recording this in 2024, but maybe 2025 is also showing us this, has taught us anything, it's that if you are in the public eye, there's a certain level of branding that you're able to achieve, marketing and game playing that you have to have in order to get people to pay attention, in order to get people to lock in, so to speak.
Unless you're truly talented.
I don't want to call it a gimmick because there's authenticity in parts of it for some people, for sure. But I do think you do have to have some sort of gimmick, some sort of vibe, some sort of thing that will draw people in, that helps people make sense of who they assume you are to be.
Yeah, but then the question is how far do you go? Like, for example, I use titles and thumbnails in order to draw people in, but I would never sell my soul and represent myself how my father would not be proud if it's for an increase of numbers within my bank account. I, unlike that woman, would think that my image is something that can be replicated if a young man wants to get value out of his life, improvement within his life. Do you think that women should replicate her image? Huh?
For her, it's the baddie. It's the femdom baddie. She has a song called Legal Baby that she made when she was 18. If you are making a speech like that at 15, you know good and goddamn well what these menses are like. And you know titling a song Legal Baby and doing that is gonna get the attention. So you are playing the game. I wanna point out this branding and marketing and this intentionality of it Because one, I think we tend to think women aren't as smart as they are, especially when they're selling sex. We tend to think that women that are selling sex are just, oh, they're just so dumb and they just don't have anything else to offer. So they're just going to offer their body. And once their beauty's gone, it's over. And it's like, these women, most times they know what they're doing. Most times it's a character, it's a thing. And some examples I'm thinking of are Dolly Parton, where it's not necessarily that Dolly Parton was selling sex, but come on, boobs that big, hair that high, and blonde, and the little the little giggles. Come on, Dolly knew what she was doing, and she calls it a character. And it's also why we never saw her man or even knew that she was with a man, husband, whatever, for how long? Girl, Marilyn Monroe said the exact same thing. These are two white women. I'm looking at women in hip hop. Megan Thee Stallion is a giant nerd.
It's a discrimination to nerds everywhere, okay? It's race.
She's a nerd, okay? She happens to be a baddie and she happens to be hot, yes. But beyond that and the marketing of her and all of that, girl, please.
First off, free Tory. Nobody's arguing that these women may not have a degree of intelligence about them. What I'm arguing is that they prioritize their own self-degradation as well as the continued degradation within a community of people who look just like them, over-representing themselves how members of that same community should. Utilizing alleged industry pass-arounds like Megan Thee Stallion in order to fulfill a point is wild work. Anyway, I think that I've had enough of hearing her words and her perspective. Her video is literally not even halfway done, but I think I got all the information that I needed. And essentially what we're watching is average at best, unmarriageable women patting other women on the back because they think that their sexuality out on Front Street is something that is empowering in today's modern society, without realizing that continuing to uphold this fake air of strength is one of the major reasons that everything's just backwards within society today. Degradation has been put up on a social pedestal. If any of these young ladies happen to be my daughter, I would be ashamed. I would say to myself that my job had not been done correctly, perhaps through me not being in a household she's now suffering through abandonment issues, or because of my lack of presence, of shaming bad behavior. She doesn't feel shame by demonstrating herself like a profitable OnlyFans model. I may not have given her the tools to be confident within her own skin or to be confident with her talent. Guys, that's the last bit of this fair use commentary on this particular YouTube video. Guys, write me your comments down below if you're still here with me. I know that this was probably a hard one to stay into the whole thing, but write me your comments down below. Let's continue to have a conversation in regards to content like this in order to figure out where do we go from here? Content like this should always be put up for criticism. And in fact, this is the purpose of fair use, to critique things that are in the public eye, because we need to have a discussion of what really is valuable within society. The days are past of just accepting whatever mainstream media tells you to do, because there's information sources out there to upgrade whatever you do to do better. All right, guys, leave them down below. Last but not least, men's self-development community, link to it down in the description box down below. We are building bigger, better, faster, stronger. Especially join if your focus is wealth building going into 2025. I have the resources for you in order to upgrade where you are right now into a wealth building mindset. Until next time, YouTube. Peace.